Fenua, a really interesting question landed on my desk the other day, and it was all around home care packages and the process involved in that, and in particular, selecting a home care provider. So, would you mind just spending a little bit of time just taking us through high level what that all means?
Yeah, sure, not a problem. So it's helpful to be clear that you can't make the decision that you need home care and then go and get a provider. It's a government assessed process. You might make the decision that you need some extra care or help mowing the lawns or something. You get a private provider, and that, absolutely not a problem. But if you feel that you're at a point that things are starting to become a little bit difficult or changing, you need to get onto My Aged Care, and then they will take you through a series of questions to determine what that level of care might be, because there's two teams that might come out and assess you, depending on that perceived level of need. And this is why it gets really important around what it is that's triggering why you might need care, and therefore how you answer those questions to My Aged Care, because they may send you out the lower level team when really you need the higher one. So it's a few little things to bear in mind. Either way, they will send out a team of people who will run through an assessment with you in your home. And based on that assessment, they will determine that you need a level of care or respite care or residential care. So, or the Commonwealth Home Support if it's a lower level of care needed. And then you'll get a letter to say that you've been assessed and that you've been assessed as needing a level 2 package, and that you've been placed on the national queue, and there you'll sit for however long that needs to be, bearing in mind that the higher the level of package, usually the longer the wait, which is, a little bit problematic, because if you have a high level need, you probably need the care now. So there's a bit of planning that perhaps needs to go into play at this point in time to cover the space between time of assessment and actual time of receiving the package. So let's fast track. You've received your letter from the government saying that you've been allocated the package now. You've got 52 days to organise who you want to provide that package and sign up and get underway. So how do you choose a provider? How long is a piece of string? It helps to work out what is really important to you and what your needs are. I think there's an excess of 900 providers available these days, from very small, quite boutique places to quite big organisations, for-profit, not-for-profit, private. It's a big list, and they all do a good job. They're all accredited under the standards. So in that respect, there's a degree of consistency, but how they do what they do often varies quite a bit. So that's where you need to start going, okay, for me, it's really important that the organisation lines up with my values, that my care needs are this. I want to have regular contact with a person to step me through every step of this process, or I'm actually quite independent and I, can pretty much manage most of it myself. So I just need sort of a higher level of, more superficial care. And then you can start to kind of drill down into the providers that will best meet those needs. And then, when you're drilling down, you need to look at what it's going to cost you for the services that you want delivered. So they all operate under a consumer-directed model. So you determine what you want. There's a few exceptions, but more or less, if you want more of community engagement as opposed to personal care needs, that's fine. And you can change that round each month. But you need to start tapping into what the cost of that service is, because Often there's little hidden things that are in there, like travel, or we can't do this, or we can only do this. So you have to sort of start to then sort of explore with those organisations what they can, how flexible they are in meeting your needs, and that can be kind of a bit daunting straight off the bat. So it's helpful to be planning this quite early on, like really start the planning, start thinking about what you really want at the time that you have your assessment, not at the time that you get your letter to say that you've been approved. It is something though that Family Aged Care Advocates can help you with, and we help you by really seeking to understand what your needs are, what you're expecting from the package, and then going through the providers available and aligning 3 or 4 that we think will probably best meet your needs based on that discussion, and providing you with that support in that way, and then helping you make contact and join up if required.
Right, that's awesome, Whenua. So it's really important, I think, to understand here that with this home care package sort of set up, is the government provide funds to you, the person in the home getting the care, and it's all about you being in total control in managing that money to get the care that you need, rather than the other way around where, a provider would walk in and say, well, you need this, 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 and this. And so it's really important, I think, for people to get their head around the fact that they are in total control of this process.
Yeah, absolutely they are, but they don't hold the money. Mm-hmm. So you have a good relationship with the provider to make sure that your money is doing what you want it to do.
Yeah, great. All right, Whenua, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.